Hello, welcome to this next edition of Pilates Matwork. So a couple things. We are going to use a Pilates ring today. If you do not have one, I will give you options of different things you can do in place of that. And then we're going to use a belt, strap, stretchy band, whatever it is that you have to do some different stretches in our practice as well. So it doesn't really matter what type you have, but just have it close. And that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. So find a nice, comfortable standing position here to begin. And I'm just going to take my feet about hip width apart, maybe slightly wider. And then drawing up from pubic bone behind the navel, just let the arms just kind of relax to the side. I'm just going to kind of rock side to side. So feeling all four corners of the feet coming in here, and maybe even pressing into the big toe and pinky toe mounds as you lift the toes up a little bit, finding that inner arch of the foot. And then from here, I'm just going to lower that down. Good. From here, let's take a big inhale, arms up. Exhale, bending the knees, taking that all the way down, pressing through the feet, coming all the way up. And inhale, exhale, taking it down. Big inhale, coming all the way back up. And reach, reach, reach. And we'll lower down. Good. So we're just going to do a little bit of scapular mobility warm up. We'll warm up our legs a little bit and we'll get right to the ring. So think about some elevation and depression work. So elevation, we're just lifting the shoulders up. Think about a nice shrug. And depression is taking them back down into their pockets. So elevation, depression, elevation, depression, elevation, depression. Good. Maybe even one at a time. You can even add a little bit of rotation here, kind of like a swimming stroke, if you want to think about it from that perspective. Good. And then if you took that, maybe the opposite direction. Now my core is still nice and tight here. If you're not really sure what that means, good. And then from here, let's take our arms forward. So I'll show you from a side view. So this is protraction and retraction. So right here, I'm just kind of at ease. So I'm going to protract, I'm going to reach forward, shoulders reaching forward out of their pockets, and then I'm going to retract and protract and retract and protract and retract. Again, protract and retract and just relax and shake it out. Good. So from here, let's go right into maybe wider, a little bit wider than hip width apart, and we're just going to squat, and you just go to your limit. Trying to keep the heels grounded, driving through the glutes and the heels as you come up. Move with your breath. Good. Now from here, maybe you want to move to one side and the other. Then you're kind of pressing off a little bit. Think about like you're roller skating almost. Good. Now I'm going to work and take my legs a little bit wider here, getting deeper into the side bend. Good. You can stay right here with hips, knees, and toes facing more forward, or you can start to slowly take them out to the side. You can rock, hips, knees, and toes, track in that direction here. Good. We'll come back to center now that we're wider. Just take a little bouncy bounce. Add the arms into it. Inhale, exhale. And notice if you've got a wider stance on your squat, do you have a tendency to hinge forward? There is a time and place for that. But from here, since we're just moving up and down, can you think about more like a rod? So can you be a little bit more lifted in that torso? And then when you're ready, just take it up, heel toe, and step it in. We're going to grab that ring. Good. So we're going to do our arm tune here. Now you can do this one standing, especially if you've got some knee issues. I'm going to come down onto my knees, however, and do this one. But you be very comfortable if you want to come onto your knees and follow me. If you need knee cushion, remember you can always bring in a blanket or fold your mat up. So we're going to start with this ring right in towards the chest. So to give you a side view, this is kind of what that looks like. So rolling your shoulders back, drawing up and in, and we're going to press in. Okay, and you can do that for 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 times, however many that you're able to do. Don't focus on so much trying to touch these together. Those of you that don't have that resistance, taking your arms forward, and you're going to think about like you do have resistance here. So it's going to be slow, and you're going to press in and maybe separate. And you'll press in and separate. So it's going to be your move. Wherever you're working, can you think about engaging the core a little bit more of a lift of the pelvic floor every time you press? Relax through those shoulders. Good. Now, once you've come to your happy number, just relax the shoulders. Maybe you roll them back, roll them forward. We're going to take this forward now. So from a side view, this is what you will look like. We'll take it forward. Keep a little micro bend in the elbows. Okay. And then from here, you're just going to press in again. So same thing before. If you don't have one, just kind of think about finding that resistance and pressing and coming open, and then find that resistance and prepping. Wherever you're working, you're going to feel it right through here. I don't always like to say this is good for this fat or that fat or whatever, but this is good for that overhang sometimes that women get as we age. And some men get a little soft there as well. Good. And then when you're ready, so 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever is going to be the number for all of these exercises. So once you've completed your set, we're going to move on to the next one. So now we're going to come into halo. Good. So just making a halo with that ring, elbows out to the side. Think again, drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel, maybe even a little bit of an engagement from the gluteal fold from back here. So right here, and then as you draw up and in, you're just going to press in. So feeling a little bit different. So same thing, if you don't have a ring, you're just going to take the arms, hands up overhead and press in. Good. Good. And remember, it doesn't matter if your ring moves or not. If you feel that muscle engagement, you're working. All the ring does is give you a little bit more resistance. And it doesn't really mean that you are a true Pilates person or not if you don't have one. Good. And then once you've completed your 6, your 8, 10, 12, wherever you're going here, we'll take that down. Good. So maybe shake out one arm and we'll shake out the other arm. Speaking of arms, that's where we're going to continue. So I'm going to take my ring. So everyone has, most people has a little bit of a cushiony part right here. So you don't want to be right up on the bone or into the waist, and you don't want to be down here in the thigh. You want to be right on that little padded part here. Good. And so I'm going to put that ring right there. And notice how my wrist and my hand are fairly long. I'm not trying to do this wraparound thing here. So you want to kind of situate it to where you've got the meaty part of the hand on that handle. And then drawing up and in, find stability as you press in. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Good. Good. Now again, if you don't have one, you're going to pretend that you do. So you're going to reach long and strong. And you're going to find that little resistance as you come in and as you go out, okay? Good. Breathe and expand that rib cage as you work. Good. So once you've completed your 4, your 6, your 8, your 10, your 12, wherever it is that you're going here, we're going to go into a bicep curl. So those of you that have a ring, you're going to take that ring right into the nape of the neck here. Notice on my video how I'm very vertical with this ring as I press down. You never ever want to do the side bend into the neck here. So you need to be vertical, okay? Those of you that can't keep it vertical or don't have a ring, take your arm long, make a fist, and really resist as you curl. So that will be your move. Good. Good. Going to your limit. So if you're not using the ring, you're kind of doing that slower motion, you're probably not going to be able to do as many, but that's okay. That's actually a little bit more challenging than the way I made it look. And then once you've completed your 4, your 6, your 8, your 10, your 12, whatever it is that you are going for, we will release, and we're going to take that to the other side. So finding that ring, finding that alignment on this side. So again, nice and long, try not to curl around, drawing up and in, belly button in, relax the shoulders, and go 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12. Good. Find the stability in your core. So when you press in, you shouldn't be kind of leaning over to the side or to the other side. You want that nice long plumb line from crown to tail. Good. Relaxing through the face. And once you've completed your 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12, we're going to go to that bicep curl. So remember, we want that vertical alignment. You can do this version as well. And when you're ready, 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12. Now I have a little bit of limitations in the shoulder, so I actually don't have the meaty part of my hand on this one. I'm kind of right at the knuckles. So as long as it doesn't bother anything, if that's an adjustment that you need, you can always take that too. Good. And when you're ready, when you've completed your 4, your 6, your 8, 10, 12, wherever you're going, somewhere in between, we will move on from there. Good. So we're going to use this to stretch the back a little bit. So if you've got your ring, take your hands on the inside. Good. And you can take this long and you're going to press away. Think about separating the shoulder blades here. Those of you that don't have a ring, think about just kind of clasping your hands kind of like this, and you're going to pull and then maybe pull in the other direction. So that's going to give you the same one. Or if you have a ring and just don't like that exercise in the ring, you can do that one too. So almost always there is a modification or a way to change something up. So always keep that in mind. Always let me know if you need something that I'm not cueing. And then when you're ready, release, shake out one, shake out the other. Good. From here, we're going to put that ring down. We're going to take our hands behind. Good. And we're going to open up the front of the chest. So I'll show you this from this angle here. Good. So maybe this is your range of motion. Maybe this is your range of motion. Maybe this is your range of motion. Maybe you can roll the shoulders back and get a little bit of a lift here. Maybe you really want the lift but can't quite reach. Bring in your strap, your belt, whatever it is you're using, and you can get that stretch here. So this is where I was for a long time as I rehabbed some shoulders and got my wrists back in order. Okay. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully release. Good. Have your strap and your ring close beside you. It doesn't really matter where it is. And we're just going to come to a seat. And once we come to the seat, we're going to come right onto our backs. Good. So once you get down there, just kind of maybe wiggle, 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 kind of trying to settle in. And think about the hips and knees and the toes are going to track in this alignment. For these purposes, make sure that the heels are not too close into the glutes, but you don't want them to be too far away either. So check in for a moment with your safe neutral. So I have my tailbone having connected. I've got a natural curvature of my low spine. Thinking about maybe the hip bones and the pubic bone being even on that same plane. So the pubic bone's not hiking up, the hip bones aren't hiking up. So you're fairly even. Low rib cage is having connected, and I'm rolling my shoulders back so I can be nice and wide to the collarbone here. All right. Going into our bridges, pressing evenly into both feet. I'm going to rock my pelvis back. If you need to not do that, just press into the feet and lift. Remember, your body will let you know here when you should not come up any higher. And then starting from the mid-back, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Think about maybe finding a little bit more length in the spine as you lower down bone by bone. Can you reach just a little bit more from shoulder to fingertips towards the heels? Coming back into your safe neutral. We'll go again, rocking it back. Good, peeling up. Staying with that nice breath. Belly button is still into the spine. And rolling it down. Bone by bone. Good. Finding that length. We're going to do this one more time, and then we're going to start to change this up. So reset yourself if you need to, and when you're ready, rocking it back, peeling it up, reach, 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 and carefully lower that down. Good. Finding that length. You can pause here for a moment in your safe neutral. Some of you might need to take knees into the chest real quickly. That's fine to do if you need it. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving and adding on. So hips, knees, and toes are going to track again. We're going to rock it back, peeling up one vertebrae at a time. Good. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky here. We're going to go into bridge marching. So I'm going to lift the right leg first. So really engage that left side, really engage the core. Doesn't matter how high you pick it up. You can alternate here. And notice what muscles in both the front and back side of the body have to fire up to keep you engaged and supported here. Good. Now, as you become more advanced, you can take these into bigger marches. Stay with the breath. So trying to expand the rib cage as you inhale. Engaging a little bit more as you exhale. If that's too much to think about, remember at the end of the day, the only wrong way to breathe is not breathing at all. So stay with that breath. And then from here, finish that last march. Good. Get into the feet. Maybe we lift a little higher and we'll roll that down. One vertebrae at a time. Good. As you catch your breath, take your knees into the chest. We'll all do that here. We're going to do one more thing there. And when you're ready, we'll take those feet back down. Good. From here, rocking it back up, finding that length again, reaching with the arms, getting into all four corners of the feet, making sure the pelvis is even to the best of your ability, belly button in, and we're just going to lower the glutes halfway into a hover. Squeeze those gluteal folds and lift straight up. And lower, and squeeze and lift. And lower, squeeze and lift. Hips, knees, and toes stay in that alignment. Lower, squeeze and lift. Lower, squeeze and lift. With a smile, lower, squeeze and lift. One more, lower, and squeeze and lift, lift, lift. And we'll lower, lower, lower. Good. And then from here, taking the knees into the chest, rock, 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 side to side. Good. We're going to go right into a couple chest lifts here in the hundreds. So I'm going to take my feet back down. Good. Again, I want to think about that safe neutral, and I want to find a little bit of length here. I'm going to take my arms up. Palms are facing my feet. Again, find that protraction and retraction again. So can you settle those shoulders back into their pockets for time being? Draw up from the pubic bone to behind the navel, belly button into the spine, or thinking about you're zipping up from the pubic bone to behind the navel. Think about you're zipping up into your favorite pair of jeans that you just took out of the dryer and now they're a little tight. So you got to really suck it in to make it fit. So think about that. Big inhale, exhale, nodding the chin, reach, reach, reach. Look, look, look to the mid thigh. Arms are long and low. And we're going to lift and we're going to lower. And we'll take that again. Big inhale, find your length. Exhale, nodding the chin, reach, reach, reach. Look where you're going. Ice between the thighs. Good. Beginners can stay right here and work with a little pump. Everyone else, take one knee in. Today we'll top at a time. Knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. Legs can be together or hip width apart. More advanced people, you can also take this into a diagonal. The lower you go, the harder it is, but you need to maintain neutral spine. I'm going to demo right here. I'm going to lift a little higher, reach a little deeper, and I'm going to start pumping. And we inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, belly button in. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, hold. Lift higher, reach deeper. If you're in tabletop, maybe reach a little bit longer. And bring it in and bring it down. Whew. Maybe taking those feet as wide as your mat. Get a little windshield wiper here. Knees can also come into the chest and rock side to side. Breathe and expand. Good. From here, when you're ready, we are going to go right into our series of 5. So taking the feet back in. Good. Beginners, you can keep your feet grounded between each one. You can even keep the upper body lowered. Otherwise, you can come in a C curve and go here. Or everyone else, follow me. Knees are going to come into tabletop position. Arms are going to come up. We're going to find our C curve. Inhale. Exhale, taking it up. My right hand or left hand rather is going to come to the right knee. Right hand's going to come to the outside of that right ankle. That helps with the alignment, hip, knee, and toe. Left leg's going to come long and a hover. Stay in neutral. Here we go. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 3, 4. Take a break or go for 5. 6. Take a break or go 7. 8. Whew, take a break, go 9. 10, hips stay on the floor. Maybe 12. And bring it in and bring it down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Single straight leg stretch. Legs are going to come up towards the ceiling. While we're up here, take advantage. Point and flex to those feet. Twirling those ankles in one direction. And then in the other. And then spreading those toes wide and squeezing together and wide and squeeze together. Good. Okay. From here, when you're ready, arms are up. Big inhale, draw up from pubic bone behind the navel, staying in safe neutral. I'm going to come up. I'm going to start on the left side. You can grab the thigh, the shin or the calf muscle. Right leg is going to come long and a hover. Pulse only the leg that you're holding on to. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. 2, 3, 4. Take a break or go 5. 6. You can take a break, stay with these, or more advanced people. Maybe hands can come behind the head and go into some long scissors here up to 12. Remember, body doesn't rock side to side. Keeping hips stable. Belly button in, gazes to the thighs. And when you completed your 12 or your magic number, bring it in, bring it down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Whew. Good. Double leg stretch. So I will show you a no ring option and a ring option, which is the one that I'm going to use. So I like to start this one with knees in on an exhale, or here's my inhale. Exhale, I'm going to come up. I'm really pulling in. Good. Inhale, exhale. Okay. So that's if you don't have a ring or you just like that one, you can do that one. If you're going to have a ring, I'm going to really think about reaching over my knees. That's going to help me lift a little bit higher as I come back. Again, legs only come as low in the diagonal as you can maintain neutral spine. If your back gets involved, take your legs up higher or take a break. Good. So I've got my inhale, exhale coming up. Here we go. Inhale, exhale. 1. Actually, I think this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a break or go 7, 8. Take a break, go 9. Whew, getting harder. 10. Take a break, go 11 or 12. Whew, taking that down. I'm sweating now. Good. Single, that's wrong. Double straight leg stretch. So some people like to sit on their hands in this one to keep the pelvis from rocking back and forth. That's what I'm actually going to do today. Some people like to keep the upper body lowered. More advanced people like to come up into that C curve. But from here, and if you want to use the ring, I actually will use that today too. I'm going to take my legs on the inside. Good. So I'm pressing. So this is just giving me more engagement on the outside of the thigh, on the outside of the glute. If you do not have a ring, your legs are going to be together. You can have them in parallel, or that Pilates V, heels and legs are connected, but toes, knees, and hips are turning outward. So upper body is lowered or lifted, drawing up and in. Whenever you're ready, you're going to lower to your limit and lift. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a break, or can you go 5, 6. Take a break, maybe 7, 8. Maybe you could go for 9 or 10. Do you have it in you to go to 11 or 12? And when you're ready, bend in those knees. If you use your ring, take that ring away. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Last one, everyone's favorite love-hate relationship, the crisscross. So those of you that are beginners, your feet can be grounded, and you're going to just lift, and you're just going to lead with shoulder and rib cage, and that's going to be your move. Everyone else, take that tabletop position. So your legs are doing the same thing as single leg, except you're rotating the upper body. Remember, hips stay grounded. They don't rock side to side. You want that stability. Lead with the shoulder and the rib cage, not with the elbows, for maximum oblique engagement. So from here, whenever you're ready, drawing up and in, I'm going to lift. I'm going to reach towards the right, and I'm going to switch. And here's 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Take a break, or maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a break, or maybe 11 or 12. And bring it in and take it down. Whew. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let's take the soles of the feet together while we're here, getting just a little bit of a hip stretch. Knees are going to come out to the side. Heels will come in towards the groin. If you cannot touch the feet together, just grab at the ankles or the shins. And then from here, when you're ready, let's come into a little twisty. Good. So let's take our knees to tabletop position, arms out to the side. Let's let those knees fall over to the right. Left shoulder is grounded, hopefully, as you look to the left. Breathe and expand that rib cage. Good. Head back to center. If you need to take one leg at a time back to center, that's fine. Otherwise, you can use your abs to bring your knees back to center. And we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And we'll take that to the other side. So resetting your tabletop. Remember, knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. Taking those knees over to the left. Keeping right shoulder grounded, maybe looking to the right. Breathe and expand. Good. So breathing and expanding in a twist is so important. If you cannot expand the rib cage in a twist, you are too deep into that twist and you need to back off until you can get that nice breath. And then whenever you're ready, one leg at a time, we're using your abs to come back to center. Wiggle, wiggle, center. And I'm just going to take my right arm behind me, roll over to my right, and press myself up. If you need to go to the left, then go to the left. So from here, we're going to come up. Good. Let's get into the spine just a little bit more here before we do some other things. So I'm going to take my feet as wide as my mat, keeping a little micro bend in the knees here if you need to do that. Nice anterior tilt of the spine. So tailbone goes behind, hip bones come forward. Good. I'm going to reach forward. Again, think about that protraction and retraction. Protraction, retraction. Protraction, retraction. Draw up from that pubic bone behind the navel. Zip it all up, nodding the chin. Roll, roll, roll forward. So remember, we're not hinging forward in this roll. You want to find that C curve. So your gaze is going to be down, maybe between the knees or the thighs. And then when you're ready, starting from that tailbone, you're going to articulate that one vertebrae at a time, that stacking as you come all the way back up, right into that tall spine, okay? Another visual, think about a rope around your waist and you're kind of folding over that rope. So big inhale, exhale, take it around. Good. And then coming back up. Good. Spine stretch forward is what this one is officially called, and we'll round. And come back in. Good. From here, when you're ready, we're going to take the arms up overhead. Now, this one is a hard one for me too, but think about trying to keep shoulders and hips in alignment as we go side to side. And you want to try and not let the hips come up from side to side. So they're staying anchored, and you want to try and keep those shoulders and hips in alignment. So drawing up from pubic bone behind the navel, you're in that nice tall sit. We're going to come over towards the right, reaching here and moving through center, coming to the left and reaching, side bending, and take that right into the other side. Good. And coming back over. And we'll do this one more time each side. Good. And taking it over. Good. From here, arms are going to be long. Think about you've got a rod, so you don't want one arm coming forward here without that control. Think about keeping the twist in the torso, hips stay grounded. And we're just going to rotate to the right and come back to center. And to the left, belly button in, center. I like to exhale on my twist. Inhale as I come back center. Good. One more time each side. Good. And coming back to center. And relax, and relax. Good. So we are going to pause there. I know we normally go into solve. We're just going to pause a little bit minute here. We're going to come back to that in a moment. But I want to work on some half roll downs first. So put a little bend in the knees. Hip, knees, and toes are going to track here. And I'm going to, for this first one, I'm going to give you the option. You can hold on or you can take your arms long. So start from a nice tall sit, drawing up from pubic bone behind the navel. Good. So you're going to get that C curve. And you're only going to come back to the point where either if you're holding on, your arms are long, or you feel like your feet are going to fly up off the floor. And then think about coming up with control all the way up through center. Nice tall spine. We're going to do that 3 more times. Slow and controlled. Good. Relaxing through the shoulders. I have to remind myself. Belly button stays in. Good. I'm still sweating and glowing here on my end. I hope you are too. Good. I think this next one is the last one. Good. So remember, you want to tip that pelvis back and we'll reach it forward. Good. Now, take your legs long. Take the heels back as wide as your mat, or if you're not working on a mat, think about a little bit wider than hip width apart. Now we're going to take it into solve. So I'm going to take my arms to the side. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to anchor. I'm going to reach and round. Think about starting the pinky toe off with the pinky finger. Both hips stay grounded. No pulsing today. Just find your reach and then come back up, reset center, and rotate. And reach and round. And back up through center. And reach and round. And back up through center to the left, reach and round. Back up through center, one more time, reach and round. Back up through center, last time, last side. And coming back up. Good. Now take your legs back forward. So we're going to build on the roll down and the roll up. So if you need to go back to what we just did, then go back and play with that one. Otherwise, arms can be long here and you can roll it down. Now, there's also a modification here as well, coming halfway and reaching as you come forward, maybe even forward folding, getting that stretch, and then going right into the next one. Maybe coming right down, all the way down if you want to, taking arms back. This is where you decide, are you going to roll over to your side and come back up to a seat and try that again? Or are you going to try that full roll up? And mine is not pretty. Big inhale, exhale, nodding. I'm thinking about reaching, even though my legs are lifting and they should technically be on the floor. I also came up a little bit to the left. You want to try to come up through the center. But I'm going to consider that a win, even though it was not pretty or the best, because several months ago I couldn't even do that. So good. Rehabbing certain body parts and injuries can just take a long time. And here we go. Oh, reach, reach, reach. And sometimes the emotional baggage that comes with those injuries can be just as long to deal with as the physical part. So I'm going to come back here and do this modification. You're welcome to continue with that full roll down and full roll up. Good. So some people would say I shouldn't even demo that because I can't do it perfectly, but you know what? Most people are not perfect. That is a hard one to do. It takes a long time to master. And then if you get injured after you've mastered it, it can take a long time to remaster. So I'm just making videos of myself being human. Perfectly imperfect. Good. And then from here, come all the way up, come all the way over on that last one. Good. From here, when you're ready, we're going to come onto our side. And I'm just going to move this to the side. So we will use the ring here today for some side lying leg work. So if you don't have that, that's okay. And for this first one, I'm going to, just before I get set, I'm going to give you a couple options. So beginners, those of you that have cranky shoulders, something like that, remember you can always just come down and rest here. The bottom knee can always be bent, okay? Those of you that are a little bit stronger, have no issues, you can come up onto the forearm today. Think about lifting through the shoulder. So to show you what I mean, this is hanging in the shoulder. We want to be lifted to really press that floor away. We also want to be lifted in the rib cage. So this is hanging in the rib cage, even though I'm not hanging in the shoulder. So we want that nice line. So think about that nice line from crown to tail again, even though you're side lying. So this is another option for you if that's where you want to be. Now I'm going to reset my ring here. So for me, I'm going to take my bottom leg on the bottom part of that ring. I'm going to take the top leg on the top. Good. And I'm going to just kind of shift and adjust because I want my hips to be in alignment. So I don't want to be back here on the glute. I want to be almost like I'm in a, you might feel, if you don't have your hand down in front of you, then you're going to roll over onto your belly, and that's okay. So from here, I've got flexion in that top leg, hip, knee, and toe are facing forward. I'm going to engage this top inner thigh, and I'm going to press down. Good. Now, those of you that don't have a ring, you're going to pretend you've got that resistance as you lift and lower, and you're not going to lift very high here. So 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12, going where you need to go. And just because we're side lying doesn't mean that we let the core engagement go either. So we're still trying to zip up from the pubic bone behind the navel. Good. So feeling it right here. And then when you're ready, good, we're going to come up. Good. I'm going to take this leg now on the inside of this ring. So right up from the ankle. I've still got flexion. So from here, those of you that don't have a ring, you can come up a little higher, but kind of pretend that you've got a ring and something's stopping you. So you can find that resistance. And you're just going to press 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12. So again, same area, just a little bit differently. Think about being on the hips, not back on the glutes. You're still zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Good. And then when you're ready, you can just press and hold. Good. And then I'm going to take that leg out. I'm just going to bend in, maybe pat something out. So we're going to use the ring as a guide to get some different rotation in the hip. So what this is going to look like is we're going to take the heel and tap it forward. It may or may not touch the ground. This puts your leg in an external rotation. Hips, knees, and toes are going to turn up. Then as you move through, you're going to rotate center. Toes going to come to the back. This now puts you into an internal or medial rotation where toes, knees, and hips kind of face inward towards the body. So toe to the back, heel to the front. Watch your hips. Find that core engagement. Hips don't swing around. And 3 and 4. Take a break, or could you go for 5? Could you go for 6? We're stopping at 8. Don't need a whole lot of these. 7 and 8. Good. Bending that knee in. You can let that ring fall for a moment. Good. I'm going to leave this bottom knee bent. You can always take it longer if you're more advanced and want to do that. But from here, we're going to go into leg circles, and then we're going to come belly down in a transition. So I'm pointing my foot here. Careful not to point so much that you get a foot cramp, and I'm going to take it up and around. Again, I'm watching that core stability here. Think about it being more important how far back you go than how more forward you go to get a sneaky way to get that little hip flexor stretch in there. So my circles are pretty large. If you're finding that you can't keep the core control here, make smaller ones. Smaller ones are not to be underestimated. They can be just as challenging in a different way than a larger one. And then let's reverse that. Now my rear end is really feeling it now on that top leg. And when you're ready, bend in, pat, 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 pat. Good. From here, come belly down. Good. And as you come belly down, give yourself a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. So I'm going to take my arms long in front of me. Palms can face down or face each other. That's going to be your personal preference. But I'm going to think about really lengthening here from crown to tail, and especially from the glutes to the feet. My belly button is still in. I'm still zipping up from the pubic bone to behind the navel, and my pubic bone is into the mat. And then you're going to choose just the lower, just the upper, or upper and lower together. So find your length, and whenever ready, you lift where you're going to lift, relaxing through the shoulders. We're holding, but we're breathing. And we're going to lower that down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're going to go again. We're going to add on this time. So drawing up and in, big inhale, exhale, find your lift. You can stay here, or you can go into some swimming. So I'm kind of moving side to side here. I'm balancing on my hip bones. So you don't want to rock side to side here. This does take practice and core control. Keep the movements nice and tight. And we're breathing. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We've got one more exercise here that we're going to do before we take side lying to the other side. So from here on this one, I'm going to take my feet to a corner, my hands to a corner. I'm going to draw up, and again, I'm still finding that length, and I'm still zipping up from the pubic bone to behind the navel. Inhale, exhale. Now I'm lifting up. I've got this X shape. Good. I'm going to take thumbs together and separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Take a break if you need to, or try to tap the heels. Find that inner thigh. Woo! 1. They may not even touch. 2. Mine don't touch. 3. 4. And 5. Good. Find your X shape. Lower down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Take your hands under your shoulders. Press back. Find a child's pose. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll come back up. So I'm just going to shift sides here. You may or may not need to do that where you are. But from here, I'm just going to take my ring to the other side now. So we will come onto our backs after the sideline. So have your strap handy for that. Good. So as I come in, I'm just going to take that bottom leg through right up from the ankle. Good. Remember, you can be on that forearm, lifted and lifted, or you can come down. Good. I have another workout to do, so I'm going to keep this elbow nice and happy. Not my elbow, but my shoulder rather. Good. So the top leg's on top. I'm rolling my hips forward, so I want that balance. And then whenever you're ready, flexion in the feet, we're going to engage, and we're going to press. 1, 2, 3. So remember, you can go to 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12 on this one. We're still zipping up here. We're not letting things go just because we're sideline. We always want to be nice and engaged. Always want to be lifted through the pelvic floor. Good. Once you've completed your last one, good. You can bend in if you need to. We're going to take that leg on the inside of the ring. So right up from the ankle. Good. Find that pressure, drawing up and in, and we're going to press in. And your ring might not move very much, and that's okay. Find it right here. Be on the hip bones. I just caught myself being back too close, back to the glute. Good. Good. And smile. Yes, we want to look good, but we also want to be strong. So think about strong hips here. If you have strong hips, you have less compensation in the knees and the ankles. I'm going to, and we're going to go into that internal, external rotation. So remember, when you're ready, drawing up and in, the circle is only a guide. It is not necessary to do this exercise. Heel's going to come forward, external, and we'll rotate, and we'll take toe back, internal. Good. External, internal. And 3, watch the hips. And 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Whew. Get rid of that circle, maybe bend that knee in. Pat, pat, pat. Now we're going to take the leg circle. So bottom knee can be bent. Mine's going to be bent, but you can always take it long for a little bit more challenge. Again, watch your range of motion. Where can you be in control of the hips? So think about more towards the back, less towards the front. 6, 8 or so will get you there. Remember, like I said, smaller circles will give you more hip stability, but it's not necessarily easier. Good. And then once you've completed your magic number there, go in that opposite direction. Whew. And when you're ready, whew, bend that in, pat, pat, pat. We're going to stretch all of that out. So come onto your back now. Good. We're going to grab whatever strap or belt that you have. And let's start taking that around the center part of the right foot. Good. So find a grip that's appropriate for you. So you can kind of grip this way, you can kind of grip this way. Find where it works for you. Your other knee can be bent or extended long if you're okay in the back. Let the hip settle into its pocket. And then when you're ready, you can find your nice hammy stretch. Keep a little micro bend in the knee here. Good. Both straps into the right hand. Good. So I'm going to take this leg out toward my right. I'm keeping both hips grounded here. And I'm going to tug in towards that right shoulder. So both hips, both shoulders are grounded. I'm still engaged in the core. And when you're ready, we'll bring that back in. From here, left leg will go long if you had it bent. Just switch hands, and I'm going to give you some different parameters, different things to do. Some of you are going to choose a long leg over here or a bend in the knee. You might have to move that leg around a little bit here to find that sweet spot on the side. Some of you are going to take this into a full spinal twist. So my right arm's going to come out to the side. Good. And I'm just going to twist over to the left. I want this leg to stay in line with the hip and not flop on the floor. And hopefully your left shoulder stayed on the floor as well, maybe turning the head to the right. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll come back up. Okay. And we'll just do a little midair switcheroo. So now your left foot's going to come up. Good. Right knee can be bent or that leg can be extended long. Find the grip that works for you on the side. And we'll bring that in. And when you're ready, good. Coming back forward, both straps into the left hand. Both hips, both shoulders will stay grounded as you take this leg out to the left now. You can stay there or touch towards that shoulder. And we'll take that leg back in. Extend your right leg long if you had it bent, switching out the hands. So remember, you go where you need to go here. So you can find a long leg or a bent knee in the 45-degree arc, maybe moving that leg around to find your sweet spot here. You can take that leg all the way over for a twist. A little too close to the wall, so I'm just going to stay right here. Good, maybe looking to the other side. And then when you're ready, coming back into center, and you can remove that strap. Good. From here, while we're on the left leg, we'll just start there. So cross the left ankle over the right knee for a figure 4. You can press into that thigh. Maybe this is enough for you and you stay here. Maybe you want to bring this in and maybe rocking side to side. And then from here, when you're ready, carefully undo. Now we're going to take the right ankle over that left knee. You can press into that thigh, or you can bring it in and maybe rock side to side. Good. And then whenever you're ready, we'll carefully take that down and we'll wiggle. From here, through a roll-up variation, rolling over to your side and coming up, or rolling like a ball. So in this rolling like a ball, you've got other options too. You can keep feet and legs together. You can cross at the ankle. See, curve it up. Only do this if you're okay in the spine, and find your roll. And if you're rolling, take a few, and we'll roll all the way forward, finding all fours. Good. So we're going to start to do some planks and some push-ups here as we end. So let's do planks first. So I'm going to take my hands here. If you are someone who has some wristy issues and maybe a forearm plank is better for you, then come down on the forearms. Everything else is the same because you're still coming out of the shoulders. Knees can be down whether you're on the forearms or the hands. So find your length, find your core, or you can be up high. Draw up from pubic bone to behind the navel. We're going to hold and breathe right here for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Drop the knees, child's pose. Push-ups. I'm going to give different options for different people. So some of you are going to do this from all fours. So from all fours, elbows can come out to the side or they can come straight back. It's going to be your choice. Try not to collapse through the shoulders and try to get 2, 4, 6, 8, or maybe 10. Next level, knees are going to come behind you. Maybe you cross, maybe you don't. You can find them there, or you can come up high and find your push-ups. I'm going to be right here. So from here, whenever you're ready, drawing up and in, pressing away to begin. And here's our push-ups. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, maybe 10. Drop the knees if you're not already. Find a child's pose. We're going to come back into a plank. We're going to add on to that plank. So coming forward. Good. Knees can be down or you can take it back. So what we're going to do here once we get into the plank is some leg pull. So it's just lifting one leg for a little bit and then going to the other side. So if you have to plank with your knees down, this is what yours is going to look like. Okay. I'm just taking it back. Those of you that are stronger, follow me if you can. Come up to high plank. Good. Find good form. Belly button in, and when you're ready, we're going to start on the left side. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Right side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a break or second set. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep hips even. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Take a break. Last set. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great work. Drop those knees. Child's pose. Maybe you want to cupcake those fingertips now. It looks so simple, but it's always harder than what it looks like. Good. And from here, we're going to end seated. We're going to end seated with some seated mermaids. So I'm just going to face you here. Good. So I've got one foot kind of behind, one leg forward. So whatever leg you have on the top, think about anchoring that hip down a little bit more. It's not going to be perfect for most people, but just energetically, you want to take it in that direction. So from here, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, let's take it towards the feet. And then move, find that nice extension. Elbow may or may not come down here. And moving through, nice and fluid. And coming down. Last one, last time. Taking it over, taking it down, maybe get a little bit of rotation here. You may or may not touch the floor with that rotation. Opening up and coming back, maybe another little rotation. And then when you're ready, just swing those feet around to the other side. Get your set up. Good. Think about that hip anchoring down just a little bit more. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, take it towards the feet and move through and lengthen and stretch. And nice fluid movement. And take it over. Good. Here's last one, coming into that rotation. Taking it over. Maybe you touch, maybe you don't. Just feel that nice little stretchy. and opening up, moving through center towards the feet, little rotation, and coming up here. Good. So thank you so much for practicing with me today for this Pilates Matwork class. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.